I made a promise 7 weeks ago to deliver information regarding this traffic collision involving Tiger Woods, and we're here to follow through on that promise and to share with you what we have learned regarding the collision that occurred on February 23rd in Rolling Hills Estates. And as I said at the day of the crash, we're thankful that that he survived this tragic collision. And I'd like to point out that Tiger Woods and his representatives have been very cooperative throughout this investigative process. And they've also provided us with the permission to share these findings with you. And for the record, under Section 20012 of the California Vehicle Code, the details of this report would remain confidential except for the involved parties. And this is true of the thousands of reports like this type we prepare every year throughout LA County. And no one is asking for any of those reports, and so this is treated no differently. The primary causal factor for this traffic collision was driving at a speed unsafe for the road conditions and the inability to negotiate the curve of the roadway. Estimated speeds at the first area of impact were 84 to 87 miles per hour, and the final estimated speed when the vehicle struck the tree was 75 miles per hour. There were no citations issued, and there are no signs of impairment. Now, I know there are some saying that somehow he received a special or a preferential treatment any of some kind. That is absolutely false. There was no signs of impairment. Our primary concern, once we obviously at the scene of the collision, was his safety. And this is where you have to switch gears and make sure the person can survive and receives the medical care they need. And the fire department, paramedics, and that's why he was taken to a trauma center, because he obviously had a compound fracture to a leg and it was life-threatening injuries. So I know there's a lot of experts who claim they're drug recognition people said, oh, they should have drawn blood or done this or done that. And without the signs of impairment, we don't get to the point where we can actually author a search warrant and develop the probable cause to get that and execute that search warrant. So that did not happen, and that is not preferential treatment that would occur in any collision of this type based on these circumstances. And past history does not get you the elements you need to establish that probable cause.
So upon our arrival, when Mr. Woods was involved in the collision, we responded. The vehicle was off the roadway and on its side. Mr. Woods was still inside the vehicle, his seatbelt was still worn, and the airbags had deployed. Mr. Wood appeared injured. Based on his appearance and to prevent further injury, we waited for the paramedics to arrive to remove him from the vehicle and transport him to the hospital. There should be a slide of an area view. The median is depicted on the slide where the first area of impact was. There's a sign on the median that was the second area of impact, which is depicted by red dots. And then the third area of impact was on the west curb on the opposite side of Hawthorne Boulevard. And then the fourth area of impact was a tree west of the curb off the roadway, approximately 71 feet. And the blue dot that's indicated there is where the point of rest where the vehicle was. The impact of the vehicle when it hit the tree caused the vehicle to go airborne and do a somewhat pirouette, landing on its side. The follow-up investigation after the fact, as the sheriff indicated, there was no evidence of any impairment. There was no odor of alcohol. There were no open containers in the vehicle, and there were no narcotics or any evidence of medication in the vehicle or on his person. In this situation, the question was asked about, did we conduct field sobriety tests? Due to his injuries and the traumatic nature of his injuries, it would not be appropriate to do any type of field sobriety test. I will say that Tiger Woods and his management team have been in communication with us and have been throughout this entire event and have cooperated with any of our follow-up investigation questions and have responded to any of our questions and or concerns.